Welcome to the Paji podcast, episode 1. Thank you, David Tua.
Thank you.
I can't believe I'm sitting here.
I can't believe it.
Yeah, honestly, truly can't believe it. You're a childhood hero growing up, but I think people watching this don't know how much of a superstar you are. And if you give me permission, I'd love to give you a little bit of an intro from what I see.
Yes, please.
So growing up, that Pepsi Max poster was in our dairy in Avondale.
Yeah.
And I grew up watching a lot of your fights.
Right.
The ones that stick out were the Shane Cameron one, Lennox Lewis.
Sorry about that.
But I'm really lucky over the last few years, we've gotten to know each other really well. And I've gotten to know another side of David Tua that I really respect, I admire, I love, and I think when people see and hear this other side, you're going to motivate and inspire a lot of people. And that's what the podcast is about. It's about getting out there and telling stories of champions that are doing good in the community and that are humble and haven't got their dues in some ways. And that's what I feel. We've uploaded some of your videos on our premium nutrition page, and organically, no boosting, no strategies. They get millions of views.
No way.
Thousands of comments.
Me? Oh,
Just for me.
And every time we tell you, it's, you're really humble, but you're the real deal behind the scenes. Like I'm really lucky to have friends that are actors and athletes and singers, but nobody gets the amount of respect and attention you do, brother. Like when we've taken time out and we've been in a rush and we're walking around Only Hunger, you stop every time for every person to take a photo. And sometimes it's been, 20 or 30 people while we're walking to a cafe and back. And when the camera's not on, you're the same guy. And I went back through my messages a few years and you always ask how my mom's doing, how my brother's doing. And you do so much for people, the community behind the scenes. And I've never seen any media outlet mention it, and I'm not having a go at anybody, but I take that responsibility upon myself because we understand how the social media platforms work and how to get information out there. We want to put out good information, facts, and there's you're one of the greatest boxing champions of all time.
Pleasure, man.
You're so humble, but in the last few years, you shocked me. Shocked me with how you're transforming physically. Every time I've come to you when I've needed help in my life, like you've just made my problems that small.
Teamwork.
And you're so humble about it. Like you're undercover philosopher. And if you give me permission, I'd love to share how much of a Romeo you are behind the scenes.
No problem. Yes, please.
But let's start with your boxing career.
Yeah.
So KP and I have been up last few nights.
Cool.
Haven't slept much, so excuse the voice, a bit sick.
No worries.
But if we may start with being born in Samoa.
Yeah.
Tell us.
Some of the greatest memories, growing up back in Samoa. I was born into a privileged life. Mom and dad had the only convenience store in the village. Oh, wow. The only car in the village. The only horses in the village, the only dogs in the village, you name it, mom and dad had it. But it wasn't handed to them, they had to work hard for it. Mom is from a beautiful family of, I think about seven kids. And dad is from a family of 8 kids. And his parents were educators, school principals back home. So he was actually the black sheep of the family, if you want to call it, or brown sheep of the family, rather. Yeah. And he knew how tough it was not to have an education. So he realized that he had to work 3-4 times as hard like everyone else, more than anyone else. And, worked himself into saving a lot of money, and then obviously started a store. And then pretty much built everything from there. And even though I had a privileged life, none was ever handed to me. You had to work hard for it. Because you had a store, you can't just roam in and grab anything. So you get a hiding. That's what it was. But then I found myself in not knowing what depression was, not knowing what anxiety was, not knowing what fear was. and not knowing what suicidal was. You know, I believe I was too young to know. But for a long time, I lived in fear of my father for a long time. I didn't ever, at the time, I never showed it, but I think it was a thing where it became a bittersweet relationship, even though I might not have shown it. But I had a mad love and mad respect for my father, because if it weren't for the way he brought me up and all of us, I suppose I wouldn't be the person I am today. I wouldn't be sitting right across from you gentlemen. So, but it was the greatest upbringing back home.
And your father, he was the one that pushed you or encouraged you to go to the boxing gym? How did that happen?
I think it wasn't encouraging me or any fathers, hey, you know, go and, you know, go and fight. I think it was more of Dad used to box, you know, from some of his friends that he grew up with. You know, they told us stories. Man, your dad was, you know, was a good fighter. He was a good fighter until he met your mom. That was it.
Became a lover.
Yeah, that was it. But never wanted to train. Just wanted to fight. He would show up at these tournaments, and whoever is what out an opponent, he'll jump in and give them a good run. And back then, you know, if you win, you get enough money to buy yourself a drink and a pie. If you lose, that's it. You know, you don't get none. So I think for me, it was more my father. It was his love of the sport, and I think any father, any mom would want to discipline their kids and wanted them to look after themselves. So that's pretty much what it was. But it became a fascination of his because I believe it's something special he saw in me. He would line up these grown boys in the village, and he'll bribe them, you know, with lollies and stuff from the store. I know that. They told me after. And he would tell them, take it easy on my son, I'll give you a hug. All right, so he would line them up and he'd make me box them, right? So that was a normal routine every day after school. So it's me, my older brother. That's what we did. But it became a thing where that's where I developed that hate and love relationship with my father.
Do you think you were naturally gifted? Or did you have to work, or was it a combination?
I think it's better of everything. Hey, none is handed to you. You got to work. You got to. I put it down as practice. You got to practice. Hey, you got to learn your craft. You got to learn your skills. You got to learn every bit that comes with it. You know, from the top of your head to the bottom of your feet.
So we're reading online. You were only 15 years old.
That's crazy.
When you won the National Heavyweight Championship. Training with Jerry Preston.
I was actually training. I was privileged to be trained at this gym a couple of times. This is where the great Jimmy Thunder was training, and then Tommy Tua, and to name a few. There were a lot of other great legends, you know, that came and that came and gone, you know. But the guy that actually trained me, his name was Hugh Birch. So we trained out of his gym in Otahu. It was actually a gym, community hall. So it was turned into a gym. And there was a lot of legends that fought out of there, like Alex Soa, Monty Beath, them to name a few. There were many more. I think there was another really good heavyweight, Tongan heavyweight. His name is Young Haumono and Young Sekona. So the boxing side of that time, I fight anybody.
At 15, that's
I
crazy.
fight anybody. Like, you know, you just there. I fight anybody.
No fear.
No fear.
Yeah.
You fight anybody. Whoever the opponent, I'll fight anybody.
Yeah.
So then that actual tournament, I was fighting as a light heavyweight right through the year. I was having good fun.
From the age of 15?
Yeah, so I was fighting light heavyweight, middleweight. Whoever's up there, I'll go fight anybody.
What was your weight, if you don't mind me asking?
I think at the time I was 70, 75, 78,
Yeah.
7 years, so around that.
Yeah.
So to be a heavyweight, you got to be 81, 82. So, you know, you have to give a little. So anyways, for some reason, I grew in that time, right? Like I'm not talking about height, but I put on bulk, right? I put on bulk. So I thought I put on bulk.
Yeah.
And I got on the scale and I was looking and I was like, and the coach was like, man, you fat boy. I was like, well, what are you talking about? I said, there's something wrong with the scale. You got to check the scale. I got on and I was like, oh, shit. And I'm not making light heavyweight anymore. I'm a heavyweight, right? I'm like, how did it happen? And then I just remember the night before, I had a good feed. But then I had planned it in my head that, hey, that's cool. I sort of pre-planned it all. Wake up, I put on a plastic bag, because you used to cut the plastic bag and put it on, put the, everything on, and then you run, and it's heat, you stay heated, and then you lose weight. So I thought, sweet. So then I eating some pasui, carlo, obviously stuff that'll be hard to digest, right? Yeah. So I was eating all that stuff and I was going to bed happy. I was happy, man. I was really happy. I was like, sweet. 5 o'clock, I'll be up. All right. I woke up, it was 8 o'clock. Then I had another plan. I'm like, nah, I'll be cool. So I went to the store and got some chewing gum. Yeah. And I was chewing and spitting, right? I was like, yeah, by the time I get there, I'll make weight. But that's when I got on the scale. I wasn't making weight, I was a heavyweight. So then the coach said, man, you got an hour to make weight, right? So they give you an hour, actually give it an hour. Yeah. Anyone that's not making weight, they give it an hour to lose weight. Skipping, some will skip. Some will shadow box, some will probably go away to the sauna. Those who are clever, those who have the money, go to the sauna, you don't have to work hard. But if some of us, we have to run. Hell no, I'm not gonna run, man. Shit, me running? No, man. So anyways, everybody went out for a run. And once I was out of sight, I sat under the tree, man. I sat under the tree and I was waiting. I was like, oh, yeah, singing away. I was thinking about the fight, thinking about how the hell did I put on that much weight, overnight? So anyways, and then I saw the guys come back. I sort of just gave them about 200 meters down the road. Then I ran after them. All right, and I got to where the weigh-in was, and I looked around. I realized I wasn't sweating. I was like, shit. So I was looking around, there's the tap. I ran over there. Everybody made the weight. They went to try and everybody made weight. So coming man, that was a tough run, man. Tough run. And the guys were like, man, you didn't see you running. I said, yeah, you see me, you saw me. So anyways, and the coach was like, hurry up, man, hurry up. It's almost time. So I got on the scale, and I went, I was like, yeah, heavier than when you lift. Heavier when you lift, man. So long story short, that's how I came. That's how I fought as a heavyweight for the first time.
Did you win that fight?
Yeah, I won the fight. So so they drew me on my first fight. I was supposed to fight the current champion. The current champion, I've been sparring in camp. This guy's a beast. Like Tongan guy, like strong, right? So I've been having fun with him in the gym. Ping, 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 ping. I was having fun with him, right? I was beating him. And then, so when they told me I was fighting him in the first fight, I was like, cool. I wasn't over how should I say? I wasn't being overconfident or anything. I just knew because I trained with him in the gym. I know people say training is different from fight, but when I train, it's like a fight. So there's a point of difference. So it never changes. So I look forward to that. But then I got into the ring, and they said he didn't turn up, and I was like, oh, I wonder what happened. And the guy goes, I think you got lost. So long story short, and I ended up fighting the guy that I think he had a buy or something. And all year round, I saw him at different tournaments. This guy that was fighting in the finals, man, he's like 6'5". Like you come out, he'll feint, and you put his hand to block your face. It went bang, like knocked him out. Like everybody's fought, sleep, because you sleep. All right, so I went out. The guy goes, man, what are you gonna do? I said, just watch, man. So I went out there. I remember Mike Tyson's fight. Went out, and he came out strong, and I went like this. I ran roll, and went boom, right? Hit him with a hook. With a hook. And thank God it landed. Thank God it landed, right? I went boom, and the guy went down. And then he was trying to get up. But we became real good friends. Like he fought for the title. later on in this professional career, Kali, me, and good fighter, good people. So yeah, so that's how that part came about.
We'll come back to that because when we were researching your career, that became a common theme when you fighting taller and bigger fighters.
Yeah.
But we'll come back to that. I wanted to share some of your accolades for some of the people that haven't followed your career as closely as I have. So you got gold 1989 New Zealand Championships heavyweight, gold 1986 New Zealand Juniors Championships, junior middleweight, gold 1990 New Zealand Championships heavyweight, Oceania Championships in Tonga, gold, 1991 New Zealand Championships heavyweight, gold, 1991 World Championships Sydney, bronze, 1992 Summer Olympics Barcelona, Spain, bronze, heavyweight, under 91 kgs. I remember watching those fights with my father. And then you turned professional December 1992. And then we followed a lot of your fights. Well, all of them. But your professional career really took off, if I'm not mistaken, the first big American name fighter, John Ruiz. And at that time, John Ruiz was up and comer who had fought Roy Jones in Holyfield. Do you knock him out in 19 seconds?
Yeah, it was more than.
Sorry, can I interrupt? I just to say this again.
Yeah.
So I think John Ruiz, he held the WBC title.
Yeah.
He had just fought Roy Jones Jr.
Yeah, I think he had the WBA title.
WBA title?
WBA title, yeah.
And I think he later went on to beat Holyfield.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
And you knocked him out in 19 seconds.
He was a stablemate of Lennox Lewis at the time. So this is an early stage. So that fight was very interesting, right? Interesting fight. Because it wasn't about the fight. It was about the bout.
Yeah.
Because he was the champion with bout. Story about the bout. So the Nationals in '89, when I won the New Zealand heavyweight title. So before the fight, my coach at the time, Cameron Todd, good people. You know, his father had done a lot for my life and my career as well. Gordon Todd, good man, served for New Zealand Army for a long time. Just beautiful people, and so I was supposed to what was I saying? What was the question again? I was supposed to.
I'm just shocked.
The belt. Yeah. So the belt. No, I was supposed to go with a few of the boys, but then I saw my coach and he says, "Hey, come, I'll show you your belt for the heavyweights." So they had this massive table and all the beautiful trophies, right? All the trophies, right? And I was looking around. I was like, "Yeah, that must be the heavyweight belt." I had the biggest belt on the belt. I was like, "It must be the heavyweight belt." So as disappointed as I was, because after the fight, I was still in the ring waiting. And the ref goes, "What are you doing? We gave you a medal. We gave you the medal. We gave you a certificate. We gave you a shield." I said, "I know I'm going to play rugby." So I wasn't worried about the shield. I was waiting for the belt. And the guy goes, "What are you waiting for?" I said, "I'm waiting for the belt." I said, "No, that's not for you. That's for the most scientific fighter." I'm like, "Damn, man." So that lifted something in me, right? So when that opportunity came up to fight for the title, I had a problem. I actually had a headline fracture on my left elbow. Yeah. I went to see the doctor. So my left elbow was like that. I couldn't straighten it. It was like that. So then a beloved Ludover, may his soul rest in peace, said, "Oh, we got to go see a doctor." So we went to see the doctor and did an x-ray. Sure enough, doctor said, "You can't fight." I said, "When you're fighting?" He said, "This weekend." I said, "Oh, you can't fight?" I was like, "I'm fighting." And then Ludo said, "No, don't worry, let's go." So we left the doctor's office. So we still trained, but like that, it was crazy. So all I did to alleviate the pressure and pain was just ice and rest as much as I can, elevate. Yeah. But I saw the hairline fracture, and I was like, "No way." Yeah. So long story short, the belt meant a lot to me because I didn't get it. So he stuck with me. So I got to work for that belt. So that when the opportunity came for the belt, I wasn't going to let this take over. So, we just did a few quarter song shots. Yeah, we're good. You ready? Yep. Warm up. Still painful.
Yeah.
Still painful. Still painful. Went through warm up. Went through pads and all that. But yeah, that was a fight. I guess that it opened up a lot of doors, and I think it to the boxing world as well. So yeah, it was good. It was a good fight while it lasted.
So the way you sort of knocked him out,
Yeah.
was that planned? You were going to finish him within the first round, or did you see how it felt first, and then you went with it? What was that? Yeah,
well, that wasn't really the plan, but then one of the things that I have to take into account. So Lou just had a knee surgery. I'm like, man, this guy coming up and down, coming up and down. I'm like, I gotta help him too, bro. Yeah. I'm just kidding, man. but in boxing, you're prepared. If it's 8 rounds, 12 rounds, 12 rounds. But any opportunity you take it, man. Yeah.
And it was lefty or left hook?
Yeah, it was a left hook. Yeah, it was a left hook.
Did that hurt when you hit him like that?
Nah, man, it felt good. Actually, after the fight, wins the next one.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah.
We sort of looked into the sort of lunge you do before you do that hook.
Yeah.
Is that planned as well? Was that sort of just it comes with how you train or how you perform at the end of the day?
I think what it is, it's timing, practice. Yeah, it all wraps into one. You're in that moment. Yeah. When somebody moves, you go with it. Yeah. You don't wait. Yeah, you just go with it. Yeah.
There were heaps more good fights after that one. There was one Oleg Maskayev.
Yeah.
And he went on to beat Hasim Rahman.
Yeah.
I met Hasim Rahman. He's a cool dude.
He's good people. Yeah, good people.
But they come from the Soviet boxing school with the Klitschko brothers.
Yes.
And you smashed him too.
Yeah, it was a good opportunity. It was a privilege, I always believe it's a privilege to have shared the ring with a lot of these not only great fighters but great men, great men. Because they're in there, they're fighting for their families. That's what it pulls down to, and it seems I was the one blocking that, that way for them to progress.
Yeah.
So it's the way I see it as well at times. So in any situations, it's really important that you understand and know the reason why you're getting yourself in certain situations. Especially that fight, what you're in for, fight to the bitter end.
Then after that, you fought at the time undefeated. I always mix up his name. Ike Abiabuchi.
Yeah, you're good.
That was that is even to this day one of the most amazing heavyweight fights in history. With some commentators saying that back then even Tyson was ducking both of you guys. David Tua was not saying this. Commentators were saying this.
Oh goodness.
There's 1,730 power blows. We both watched that fight again.
Yeah.
There was just hook after hook after hook. There was like no jabs from both sides. Do you remember that fight?
Oh, sorry. What was that?
What is? What are your thoughts on that?
It was.
fight?
It was a good conversation. It was a. It was a good conversation. Seems to the boxing world that he came out of nowhere, but I know who he was. The bottom line is you got to prepare yourself for any fight, and for every fight. And it doesn't matter who's in front of you. If they give you a fighter that has more loss on his record than wins, it shouldn't change anything. Because for that fight, it was a good fight for the fans, for the boxing fans. Because that's what the fans come to see. And for me, that's the sort of fights that I love getting myself into. Because you put yourself on the line, you put your best on the line, and they put their best on the line. And whoever comes out, the end of the night, who wins, so be it.
I still can't believe that fight went the distance, because you guys were throwing bombs, like bombs on bombs on bombs, and he'd never lost.
Yeah.
But in the words of his trainer, after that, Ike Abiabuchi suffered severe mental health problems, and said he was hearing things and hiding from demons. Do ever worry or think about like CTE, like with all the concussions and heavy blows that you've taken throughout your career? Does that ever worry you? Or what are your thoughts on damage in the ring? Did you feel different after that fight? Because he was never the same.
What's it?
Do you feel different? Did you feel different after that fight?
I feel fine, man. I actually woke up this morning. I can still spell my name. So that's good. That's good. It's a good start. Yeah, it's a good start.
Do you think you're blessed with a granite chin? Like,
I'm not sure if it's got anything to do with a strong chin, like a good chin or a granite chin or whatever you want to call it. I think it has everything to do with this, because you gotta think. Hey, you gotta have strategies. You know, to be a strong fighter is to be smart. Hey, so sometimes what I was very blessed with was by being taught and being trained by the professor himself, Georgie Benton. Then I was trained under another great teacher, Roger Bloodworth, then another great teacher, and Ronnie Shields, and many more after that. But Georgie Benton actually started me off and showing me the defense. And I think, and Billy will actually believe, if it weren't for him teaching me that, I probably won't be sitting right across from you by now. I'll probably, I don't know. I don't know. I just wouldn't want to think about it right now. But because he's taught me how to defend myself. Because even though there's some shots that it may seem like I'm getting hit with, but I'm actually rolling with it. So you're not taking the full impact. So there's ways to take punches without, And the other thing is, just because I can take a good punch doesn't mean I'm going to stick my head out there and say, hit me. Hey, because I think there's life after boxing.
Yeah.
So I've been blessed, and I've been lucky. Hey, being lucky. I believe it's been through the prayers of my parents as well, and everyone else that prayed for me. Even though it may sound contradictory, because when you're in the ring, it's very different.
Yeah.
You don't think about anything else.
Yeah.
It's showtime.
Yeah.
There were a few other big fights. You fought in 1998, Hasim Rahman,
Right.
when he was at the top of his game.
Right.
And you beat him and won the IBF Intercontinental and the USBA heavyweight titles.
Right.
And then and Hasim Rahman went on to beat Lennox Lewis.
Yep.
And then you also fought Obed Sullivan, who went 9 rounds with Vitaly Klitschko. But you I shouldn't laugh. But you knocked him out in the first round, 51 seconds.
Yeah.
I
think he just comes over prepared, and so you don't.
Oh, what?
Yeah.
And then I just like, these are world elite fighters that you just put away in seconds.
Yeah.
And then you were in LA,
Yeah.
and this is not me saying this,
Yeah.
but the commentator's saying. Then you went on the LA diet.
Yeah.
Is that true?
I'm not sure if it's a LA diet. It's a David Tua diet. LA diet.
Because after that was and I remember this fight.
Yeah.
Because we had to get a Sky just for the fight. Lennox Lewis, 12 rounds. And what are your thoughts on that fight? That was would you say that was the peak of your boxing career at that time?
No.
No?
No. Respectfully to Lennox, I think it's definitely one of the greatest champion of his era.
Yeah.
But definitely not. The reason being is because I value things differently than others. I would look at certain fighters, then I look at certain fighters, and would then put in my own ways of seeing things, if that's what it is, or if that's what it is. And if not, then I make my own decisions. You know what I mean? So that, title fight, it was a privilege. You know, it was a privilege to have shared the ring with Lennox. But for me, I think there were so many things going on with this, so many things going on behind the scene, that it was hard for this to comprehend and compromise. I mean, making sure that it was happy. Because for me going into that fight, there was so many things going on here. And as a fighter, all you want to do is to be given the mind space to fight. Hey.
Did you have like a routine, like a pre-fight routine, or did you think about certain things before you had a fight, especially with the big names like Lennox Lewis?
No, I think what actually took place in camp when I got hurt in sparring, I think that really hindered the way I think. Right. You know, I didn't train for about a week, and all I did was just nursing my side and hoping it'll get better. So after a week or a couple of days, then I had to put on this padding thing, and then try to do some sparring just to see if it feels all right. But you can do all that, and this is just me talking straight up. You can do all that, but if this is not with it, you know, man, you can put steel on that, and you know, it's not gonna make any difference. Yeah. So what I learned from that fight was being able to dig deep and find who I really am. All right, find out who I really am, because there was a lot of soul searching in that fight. David Tua could have quit on the stool, man. All right, Nam was going right. All right, it seems like I was coming from the middle of the fight to the corner, and everybody was like, wow, but I understand, you know, there's so much happening, and I'm sure everybody might or might not have the same intentions, but if you're not having, for me anyways, if I'm not having that mind, that space where my mind could think and could breathe, I can't think right out there. So that fight was a soul searching fight. I had to dig deep, man. I had to dig deep. There were times in there like, just give up, man. Just give up. Don't worry, man. Don't worry. Nobody understands what you're going through. Just give up. Just don't come out in the next round. The next round coming out again, man. You know. So yeah, you continue. So I was continuing to talk to myself through this whole fight. Come on, man. Keep going. Keep going.
Of course.
Keep going, man. Keep going. Just keep going. Just finish the round. Keep going. Because for me, it felt like nothing was going right.
Did you adjust watching that fight? In terms of like, he's a bit taller than you as well.
Like I said, I guess all it was for me, like I said, because the mind wasn't in the right space, wasn't thinking right. So therefore, you know, I wasn't fighting the way I normally fight. Because everything became a hinder. And every time, you know, he'll come over or we exchange shots. I'd always think, because when it happened, it felt like somebody stick me with a knife. I couldn't breathe. You know, it was just one of those bizarre, crazy situations. And yet, when they did all the scans, nothing.
This leads perfectly into where we want to go with this. Is you fought a lot of battles in the ring and outside of the ring, and in our work we meet a lot of people, which is one of the reasons why we want to do this pod. Is a lot of people don't talk about their struggles. And it's not cool. But through those struggles, you get to where you are, you become who you are, as long as you can tell yourself and push through. Because I know you coach and help a lot of people behind the scenes, and you've helped me so much. But for the people that are struggling with things mentally, if it's not boxing related, life related, and I know it's quite general and broad, but what advice would you give them to come out the other end?
I think it's really, really important to look yourself in the mirror and ask a few questions. And I think one of those questions is, I need help. I need help. Hey, once you answer that, the rest is history. Hey, because you're revealing to yourself what this big thing was that you were holding. Like, no, I don't need help. No, I know everything. No. And I think sometimes being a man, hey, or an opposite sex rather, doesn't allow you to, because your pride, because you always think, well, I'll carry this. I'm carrying this, I can do this. But you don't have to, man. Hey, you don't have to. You're gonna have some good days, you're gonna have not so good days. But you live to fight another day. Hey. But I think for me, that was probably the best thing, the best and probably the first thing I had to answer myself. Man, I need help. And did I get help? I got help, all right. Yeah.
I found that in my life too. Did you find when you're vulnerable and honest and you put your hand up for some help, that help comes from places you didn't even know that was going to come from?
Yeah, absolutely. I was at a gym. I was just going hard. I was like, trying to fight my demons. And then I was on my way out. And then the lady goes, hey, TuaMan, this lady left this card. I was like, oh, okay, well, who is it? I said, and then she said, oh, it's one of the trainers here at Les Mills. I was like, cool, so sweet. So took it home. I probably saw that card walking in and out the door like 3 weeks. All right, and one particular day I was like, nah, I'm gonna pick it up, I'm gonna call her. So I called her, I'm like, hey, you left the card, sorry, about 3 weeks ago. Just wanted to, finally reach out to you and just wanted to know what this card is about. Oh, I see certain things in you when I watch your fight, in me when I compete. She was a power lifter, beautiful lady, nice people. I'm like, cool, so what's this card? I said, oh, give this guy a call. I was like, okay, all right, sweet. So then put the phone down, I called this number and I was ringing, I was like, hey, this lady, they gave your number out for me to give you a call. Is this Peter? He goes, yeah, that's Peter. I'm like, this is a prank? Hey, I'm like, hey, yeah, this is Peter. I'm like, are you sure this is Peter? Yeah, this is Peter. Is it you, David? Yeah, this is me, it's me. It's like, oh, this is my address. Come on down. All right, sweet. First I went and checked where the Edward was. I was driving around. I was like, oh yeah, that's where the house. I was like, sweet. I was about to go up the driveway and I realized I had a marked car. All right, I had a TuaMan plates. It's like, nah, I don't want to do that. So I went all the way down the street. So I parked at 300 meters down the road. I didn't know what I was getting myself into. I don't want anybody to caught me there, man. So anyways, I was parking down the road. I had my bucket hat on like they don't know it's me, right? Bucket on, I was walking down the street, knocking on the door. I was like, sorry, I'm supposed to be meeting Peter. Said, oh, yeah, he's not here. He's not here. Oh, he doesn't live here. He doesn't live here. But, he does most of his work here. So I was like, oh, cool. So is he far away? He goes, no, just about 5 minutes. Cool, so he finally turned up. I was sitting in his room, right? Sitting in this room. I was sitting on this nice, relaxable chair. And me and we were talking, right? We're just talking away. And I was like, what the hell am I doing here? I was like, what the hell am I doing here, man? Right? But we're having a good conversation. I'm just talking back and forth. So anyways, and I was like, man, this is really cool. It's like a buddy, like your buddy you don't know, buddy you can vent to, you just open up to. I'm like, oh. So then after, it's like when you're done with that, I'm going home, right? So before I left, I could hear some people in the front. I was like, it's like, hey, Mr. Peter, do you have like a back door? I said, oh, there's a roller door, there's a side door right there. And I was like, all right, sweet. So long story short, and now went around the front. So walking around the front, I was like, just looking around, I was like, I was like, holy shit, I know those people. You know what it was? It was like Paul Holmes. Oh. Rest his soul in peace. Wow. Yeah, man. I was like, what? Yeah. I was like, nah, I don't want him to see me as I'm walking down the street. A long story short, right? Fast forward many, many more years forward. Man, I didn't have to go through the side door. Shit, I went through the front door. Because I understood, right? To be the best, if you really want to be the best rugby player, you got to see the best coach, best rugby coach. You want to be the best boxer, you go to the best boxing coach. All right? You want the best, to get the best out of your mind, you go to someone that understands that. And man, I got so much out of that man, you know, and how our conversation went and how it's helped me with anxiety, depression, suicidal, mental health, and it all connected back to when I was a little children, my father, you know? And I think to live with fear is not a good thing.
Of course.
You know, and not many people understood that. You know, and not many people understood that. And like I said, if I hadn't answered that question to myself, I wouldn't have got the help that I got, and I wouldn't have got the help that I need, you know, right now in my life.
Man, thank you for sharing that. That's I feel like we can talk for hours, but I want to keep this flowing. Then you took a few years off and came back for the fight of the century,
right,
with Shane Cameron in 2009. And in some of the interviews, that was the most ruthless I ever saw you. Like, you're sitting side by side, and you say, what did you say? Thank you for allowing me this opportunity, but respectfully, I'm going to hurt you.
Yeah.
And Shane Cameron's a beast, but he didn't say nothing back. What was different in that fight? Because the TuaMan, the TuaManator that came out swinging in that fight seemed different from some of your other recent fights. What changed, if anything, in that fight?
Shane asked me, you know, 4 years later, he invited him to his beautiful home. Yeah.
You guys are friends now?
Yeah, we're good buddy. Hey, Shane, what's going on, brother? Always have a lot of love and respect for Shane because he actually changed the dynamic, the face of New Zealand boxing. When they said he couldn't do it, he couldn't do it from this side of the world, he proved it wrong. Because he became what maybe the very first in this era, someone that was ranked from here, that hadn't gone out of New Zealand, fought in the States and elsewhere, but he fought here in his hometown, got a world title ranked, and was, you know, given the opportunity, obviously through me, that for his ranking. But see, what people didn't what actually happened in that man cave when he invited me and my beautiful wife there was that he said to me, "What's your hardest fight?" So if I tell you, you won't believe me. He goes, "Lennox." I said, "Nah, man, I went the distance. You couldn't hurt me." Respectfully, right? Oh, this guy. I said, "Nah, man." And he, me and him were doing patrons. We're like, oh, that's good. Oh, that stuff. Hey, Shane, what is this stuff? Man, this stuff is good, man. He goes, yeah, that's good. It's good too, man. So anyways, I was starting to get drunk. I said, you trying to get me drunk, man? He said, no, I was just having a good conversation. So anyways, he said, what's your hardest fight? I said, if I tell you, you won't believe me. He goes, nah, all these names. I said, nah. In his glass. And I said, Shane Cameron. He goes, what? I said, yeah. And he goes, I said, are you shocked? He goes, yeah. I said, why? He says, I said, look, you didn't know what that fight meant. My whole career was about this fight, right? It would have meant everything I did in the States, right, were all rubbish if I had come back and you beat me, right?
That is true.
I'm very sorry. I wasn't going to lose to you that night. Yeah, but I said it with the utmost respect. So that fight was my title fight. Let's put it that way. So for me, respectfully, I had the base camp with Lee Parore. I had Mayu helping me. And there's so many other beautiful people. Camp was good. Sparring was good. And respectfully, if I had fought whoever that night, it didn't matter. It didn't matter because that was the best camp ever, like in my whole career, ever. It was the best. It was the best camp.
Shane was a beast too then.
Of course.
He was at the top of his game. He was knocking people out.
Of course.
Fit, cardio for days.
Yeah. And he still is.
Yeah.
He still is.
Speaking of Shane, we watched a video of him the other day. I sent it through to you because he sparred with Tyson.
Oh.
And he obviously fought you. And he said, out of you and Tyson,
Right.
stronger chin, David Tua.
Ooh.
Who's more explosive? Mike Tyson,
Oh,
he said. Who hit harder?
Yeah.
David Tua.
Oh, thank you, Shane. Brother.
And he also said, from his experience, if you two ever got in the ring, that he'd put his money on David Tua.
Ooh.
That's
Thanks, brother. Thanks, brother.
that's really nice to see that you guys fought,
Yeah.
and there's so much respect.
Yeah.
And speaking of respect, throughout your whole career, like we couldn't find any evidence of you disrespecting anybody. You know, after a win, sorry, my Indian's popping out there. After a win, you never disrespected anybody who fell down or was knocked out. How does it feel when, this is KP's question, I'll lead him into it. You know, because you're blessed with power and you've worked your whole life, it's a lifetime of work here. But when you knock somebody out and your adrenaline's high in the fight, you're in the zone, you're there to do a job. You've been training for it for months. Maybe they've said some stuff and emotions are high, but how does it feel for you when you connect? What do they commentators say? When you launch projectiles from your left hook and people fall, how do you feel when they're lying on the canvas?
Because these are like in game, like KOs. How do you feel when you do that?
There's a lot of things, but instantly, what my thing is I hope he doesn't get up.
Yeah.
Because my thing is I hope he doesn't get up again. Because that's what I do best, and I think I feel for them. And some of the other things that I think about is.
Sorry, may I interrupt? Is that also because you don't want to hurt them some more?
Yeah. It's almost like, one of the things I stand in the middle of the ring and I'm looking at the guys in the eyes, and there's so many things that that fighter might be experiencing, and all I'm thinking about certain things that I do is, apart from beating them up, is that what are some of the things that I often think of is that, thank you for allowing me the opportunity to beat you up. Don't take it personal. It's strictly business. I'm gonna make sure that it's nice and calm, all right? And the sooner you get them out, the better it's gonna be for you and that person. Because there's so many beautiful fights that are being like one of them is Ike Butch and myself. That it's good for the fans, right? It was definitely good for the fans, but not good for the fighters.
No.
Right? Not good for the fighters, man.
I did definitely see when you were boxing these people, when you're knocking them out, you made sure they didn't get up. And even if they were dead, we still punched them as they were going down. So that was something that I noticed. Was that something?
Your job is to do your job, right? The best that you can. The ref has to do his job as well.
And you did your job, and because these guys were dropping in video games.
That's what you're supposed to. That's your job. For me, that's my job. I'm not in there to dance around, and then my whole mentality never changes in every fight. I get myself prepared to the best that I can, physically, mentally, spiritually, emotionally. I'm in that ring. I walk you down, beat you up, punish you, I hurt you. That's what I'm supposed to do.
Of course, 100%.
You know, in your career, the fight that I'm like pisses me off, Monty Barrett.
Right.
You know why? Because we're in supplements, and he was on back then. There was a supplement called 1MR that had a banned ingredient in it, and he got up like fury, like he was knocked out. And it is my belief that if he didn't have that supplement, he wouldn't have been getting up.
Shit, I wish I met you then. You would have given me that supplement. Brother, come on, man. Should have given me some supplements, man.
Because we were talking about that, like with that supplement,
See, I've been missing out on a lot, man. What's going on here, man?
So speaking about supplements throughout your career, were you on supplements?
I think the only stuff that I knew that I was doing was multi-vi. So there was a bit of creatine that we did. Protein shakes. But apart from that, because see, when I was at camp, I had the best chef, and everything was put on the plate. So it's like you have a team. You got a beautiful team. You trust your team. Whatever's on the plate, whatever was in that jar, all right. I don't question nothing. All right. I do my job. Right.
Trusted your team quite well then.
Yeah. So I I wasn't take anything I wasn't supposed to take. But apart from that, So the thing that I see is that knowing something and doing it is not good. So it's understanding what the consequence. I think it's consequences. It's after. I think for me it's more there than what it is today. So it's later on in life. So
I just realized I'm sitting on your left side. I'm gonna ask some hard questions.
No worries.
Not allowed to punch me, okay?
Sure, but
so you knocked out John Ruiz at the top of his game in 19 seconds. You knocked out. Man, there's too many knockouts here. How many seconds does David Tua need to knock out Jake Paul?
Oh man, it's just. All right, why do we have to talk about Jake Paul? He's a nice young man.
It's all business at the end of the day.
I know. I don't know. It depends. So whatever you guys say, that's how long it's gonna take. That's how long it's gonna take.
You are so respectful. You're so like if God had blessed me with this power,
I would we do different things.
But it's not the power you have; it's what you do with it.
That's why we
Right.
that's why you're special.
It's not what you have; it's what you do with it.
So how many seconds?
Whatever you say, man. Whatever you say.
I reckon under a minute.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. All right.
15 seconds, I'm saying.
Oh yeah.
I reckon under a minute.
Should we make it happen?
It's so the reason why I ask is David Tua Mike Tyson. Not David Tua Mike Tyson. David Tua Mike Tyson is the fight that the whole boxing world wanted to see forever.
Yes.
And the only reason I brought up Jake Paul is Jake Paul is fighting Mike Tyson on April 20th. Would you fight the winner of that fight?
If the opportunity, present itself, well, why not? It's a good conversation. Yeah.
Who do you think is going to win that fight? Jake Paul, Mike Tyson.
It's no rocket scientist, eh? Tyson obviously has a better resume with his boxing abilities and what he's been able to do with boxing. On the other side, Jake, he's done okay. Hey, he's done all right. He's got some good stuff happening. He's a good following. Very good.
We're sitting here talking about him. I find marketing fascinating. He's a good marketer.
Yeah, absolutely. But boxing is boxing. I think there's been a lot of things that have changed with the boxing, with the rules. So there's a few things that have been changed. I think they might continue to change right up to the fight. Who knows? Hey. It's going to be an exciting fight.
But do you want to fight Tyson? Because Tyson's in shape. He's getting ready to fight Jake Paul.
Right.
And throughout your whole career, you've always been respectful to the craft, to everybody. Even behind the scenes, you're always respectful. But I feel, this is just my opinion, that our lives are kind of intertwined and we're on our last run. And if this is David Tua's last run, I want to know what you truly think. And there's millions of people that want to hear this from you. Do you want to fight Tyson?
Of course. But there's ways to do it. Hey, yeah, you know, I look at my life. I think about my life and the opportunities and the things that I've been able to have done. I've been blessed right through my career with those who I've shared the ring with, and those who I haven't been able to share the ring with. And this time around, it almost seems to be that way with those who I haven't been able to share the ring with. And definitely Mike was one of them. And, you know, I'm not going to be one of these guys that's going to run his mouth and call him out and all that, because I think there's a respectful way to do it, you know. So, you know, when it's time, it's time. But certainly if the opportunity does present itself, yes, please, yeah, of course.
That's the first time I heard you say, yes, please. So leading on from that, we're really lucky because we've had a backstage pass to witness your health transformation over the last couple of years.
Yes.
But like a lot of people won't be able to see underneath the TuaMan jumper that you're wearing.
Reason why. Yeah, that's right.
Can we get to take it off?
There's a reason why. There will be time. Yeah.
But do you want to share what you've been doing over the past couple of years with your health, with your journey? And
I think I've been on this beautiful health journey now for the last about a good 8 years. But on a different level, it has been for about a good year. I had this guy, Amit Sharma, reach out to me on one of my Instagram video, and he says, "Hey, I can help. I've got some good races, premium stuff that can help you." So I was like, yeah, what is this guy going on, right? What does this fella want, right? I was like, man, it's gonna like the rest of them. So 1 week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks went by. I was like, man, I'll give this fella a go. So long story short, you know, he sent me these protein stuff, and I was on it, all right? And I was taking all these protein stuff. I'm like, man, I might be just taking anything and not knowing what I'm putting in my body, right? But something in me just had this trust, right? Just had this real good feel about this dude. And long story short, so I ended up speaking with him, and then he told me, he said, "Hey man, I met you back in the days." I was like, no way.
3 times.
Yeah.
School of boxing.
That's right.
When I was a kid, Pepsi Max, we had your cutout in our dairy.
That's right. The poor brother. Yeah. Yeah. So it's been a beautiful journey. Honestly, it's been a beautiful journey. I had the opportunity to meet the owner, and what a beautiful man. And just looking forward to seeing what else we can do, because I believe getting back into shape on a different level, and getting so much out of it. I have a responsibility. Right? I have a responsibility to my family and to everyone out there. So, you know, if it's good for me, it's good for everyone else. So I believe it's in due time. I will reveal some other things that could benefit people's health and help so many more people out there. Yeah.
That's what I personally, we love about you, respect about you, and I think this is probably a good place to end the conversation, although we want to talk to you for hours. I want everybody who's watching to follow David Tua on Instagram and on Facebook.
Yes, please.
The links will be in the description.
Yes, please.
But over to you, brother, if there's anything else that you want to share, or if there's any more questions, KP?
Man, you got some questions, man.
He's got a list.
Come on. What questions do you have, man?
Yeah. Some of the questions that I actually have is like, so you paved the way. There was a few before you that went to the whole boxing journey. Do you think you've opened the gates even wider now that you've done what you've done? You've become a champion in people's eyes in New Zealand. You're this boxing legend. Do you think more people now are coming into boxing and taking it more seriously?
I certainly would love to think so. That I provided a little bit more opportunities, but I will never take the credit for it because it's about those who have gone before, right? Those who have paved the way.
Of course, yeah.
Because when I stand not because of me. I stand because
of those guys, yeah,
of them.
sure, yeah.
And just like my parents as well, like any of my parents.
Yeah.
All right, we are reaping the benefit of just the tailgate of what they've been able to have done.
Of course.
Hey, these are like real giants. They build families here. Hey, they build things here. They send money home. They build things at home, back home. Mm-hmm. So these were amazing people. So for me, I think it's being able to uphold the honor, the respect, the dignity, hey, of those who paved the way for me.
Of course. Yeah.
Hey. But I will always be grateful because I'm still active. I'm still current in a good way. You know that I can.
I forgot one. Current active. How much weight have you lost from your peak weight?
Man. So for me, I'm sort of almost at fighting weight where I was when I was fighting Shane.
Wow.
Yeah, man. It's like
Crazy.
I can't wait to the new journey. I'll be meeting up with a beautiful lady named Ruiz. Salam alaikum. And then she's gonna put me on this probably the most strenuous diet I've ever been in my life. And I'm gonna, for the first time in another things that I'm doing is I'm handing over control to someone else. Because you gotta be accountable to, right? To someone. So this is gonna hopefully help me and my beautiful wife and to get our house right. But we wanna look good and feel good as well.
The Pajis are already asking me. They're like, is David Tua on steroids?
Hey, you know what? That was one of the comments that I looked out for every time I go on my Instagram. I was looking. I was like, disappointed nobody. Shit! Now I gotta start doing some stuff. I start doing this. And once I start doing that, I'm like, he's on the juice, man. But that's why I love it. Hey, it's like
It's the biggest compliment you can get, really.
absolutely,
The one time you let me train with you, I went home.
right.
My body went into shock for 2 hours.
Oh no way, man.
I've never seen or met anybody that trains like you. You like Muhammad Ali. You didn't count the reps, the weight.
No,
just
man.
Going.
Yeah,
And then you told me that was your second training session. And you're going to train in the evening.
yeah.
So that's when I knew that you're ready. Like you're ready to fight.
Right.
And I said to you, as you get older, do you get slower?
Right.
And then you showed me that combo.
Yeah, you're right.
Well, we can talk for hours.
Go ahead.
But I want to thank you one more time.
All good?
Oh, the most important part. Do you know this podcast exists because of you?
Really?
So the word Paji exists in New Zealand because of you.
Oh, no way.
I get credit for it, but it's not me.
Okay.
I shared this story with you over lunch with my mum, but I want to tell it on the pod because heaps of people ask. So one of my we had supplement stores. I grew up here, speak English. A lot of Indians come in, start talking to me in Indian, and get upset. This is rewind the clock a few years because I couldn't speak the language.
Right.
One of my really good friends teaches me how to speak Punjabi. So he tells me Paji means brother, like bro. And because there's so many people coming to the stores, I can't remember their names, so I start saying Paji. And then thousands of people across the country and now globally start saying Paji. But I thought P-A-J-I, that's how it's spelled.
Right.
Until two Punjabi guys came from India one day to the store and they're like, ha 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 ha, that's not how you spell it. It's B-H-A-J-I. But it's too late. Like everybody's saying Paji. David Tua is saying Paji. Other people saying Paji.
You created that text form, man.
Yeah, what you did, because in that moment, what I thought was O for awesome. The Wheel of Fortune. And
That's what I was thinking as well.
we searched that video the other day, and the presenter, when you said O for awesome, he wasn't laughing. so
Hey, good brother.
it was David Tua. And when I was younger, I was a little bit more aggressive, a little bit short fuse. I was getting annoyed that they're kind of making fun of me in my store.
I know, right.
So I'm speaking English. I'm learning Womanese. And
That's cool.
and I'm learning Punjabi so I can help these guys. I'm still learning Womanese, bro.
Okay, no worries, right?
And then I said to them, well, look, it's Paji.
Yeah.
And otherwise, there's no discount and no free shaker.
There you
And
go.
they said it's Paji. Then we registered the number plate and bought the plate number.
Sweet.
And that word just grew organically like Bitcoin.
Yeah.
And today we're sitting here with you on the first Paji podcast.
That's right.
And you've always given me so much and never asked for anything in return, but I know there's so much happening in your life and you'll make announcements. And let's just leave it at that. Please follow David Tua on his Facebook and his Instagram. And
appreciate it. You got some more questions? Or you're...
Should we end it there? Or
well, we can talk to you for hours.
keep going, yeah.
We'll come back after you knock Jake Paul out in 60 seconds.
Yeah, and the other thing is, so it's a privilege. Thank you, boys. Thank you, brother, for the opportunity to have a good conversation today. And I think one of the other inspiring thing that I sort of live for, and it's my motivation every day. I gotta buy my wife a house, man.
See, this podcast is not going to end.
That's my goal, man.
Another
I gotta
thing,
buy my wife a house, man.
then just call out Tyson and Jake Paul.
Don't worry, man. That'll happen. That'll happen. It's gonna take care of itself, man.
That's another thing I really respect about you is you have amazing, beautiful relationships. When you told me with sister for 8 years,
Yeah,
I thought you guys are like
I know.
boyfriend girlfriend. She has such a beautiful energy. It's like relationship goals.
That's why I got us a small car. Because when you have a big car, you're just too far. They're like, oh, hello.
Just makes things easier.
Hello. Hey. Don't have to go too far there. Hello. Hey. It's emotion. It's like an affectionate car. Hey, it's a little car. Yeah.
I wanted people to see this side of you. Maybe we'll come back around after we do a few more pods.
Cool.
And we'll do part 2.
Yeah.
And
that's right.
in your new house. God willing.
Salam alaikum.
Thank you, everybody.
Namaste. Shukriya. Vaftai.
Done.
And have a wonderful, safe day. Don't be like me. Be better than me. I'll see you another time.
Thank you, my brother.
All right, man.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, bro.
Thank
Good job, man. Good job, boys.